Hello my dear children, welcome to our environmental studies class. Today we will begin a new chapter. The chapter that we will begin today is chapter 2, year to year, and the topic that we will discuss in video 1 is years of animals. So let us begin the chapter. So children, you all know that ear is the sense organ that helps us to hear different sounds. Isn't it? You have been learning it from your lower classes. The same way human beings have ear which help them to hear sounds, animals also have ears which help them to hear different sounds. Okay, and you also know in animals the ears are placed on the head. Isn't it? In animals the ears are placed on their head and they hear sound with the help of the ears. And in some animals you can see the ears, isn't it? Just as we see in us, the ears in human beings you can see. If you just look at a person, you can see their ear. Why? Because it is placed on their head and we can see the outer part, isn't it? It's placed outside the head. So it is visible. In some animals also the ear is visible. Their ears are visible. Okay. And in some other animals ears are not visible. That means we cannot see the ears of those animals. Why? Because it is not placed outside their head. Okay. So you must be knowing the names of different animals, isn't it? You must be familiar with the names of different animals. You must have seen different animals. Do all of them have the same kind of ear? No, isn't it? All of them have different kinds of ear. Some of the animals' ears you can see. In some other animals you cannot see their ears. Okay. So, in your textbook children, in page number 12, there is an exercise given for you. You have to complete the table that is given in page 12. On the top of the page, you can see the names of many animals that are listed. From that, you have to pick out the names of the animals whose ears you can see. And you also have to pick out the names of the animals whose ears you cannot see. And you have to tabulate it in two tables. Okay, in first table you will be writing the names of the animals whose ears we can see. Okay, so here in this table I have listed the names of the animals whose ears you can see. So animals like deer, tiger, buffalo, pig, giraffe, elephant, cat. All these animals have ears that we can see, isn't it? Why? Because it is placed outside their head, isn't it? They have an outer part of their ear. Whereas in table 2, animals like frog, fish, ant, lizard, crow, sparrow, snake and duck. In these animals, if you look at those animals, you cannot see their ears, isn't it? Why? You can't see their ears on their head, isn't it? Just as in the case of animals whose ears we can see, these animals here you can't see. Okay, so this you have to write it down in page number 12 in your textbook. Okay. Now, first let us see about the animals whose ears we can see. First let us learn about that. If you look over here children, I have given the pictures of animals whose ears we can see. Okay, such ears, the ears that can be seen outside the head of animals, such ears are called external ears. Why? Because it is placed outside their head. We can see one ear on both sides of the animal's head. Okay. So, such ears as it is placed outside the head, we call it as the external ear. Okay, or external ears. So, if you look at the external ears of animals, children, all the animals have different kinds of external ears. If you look at the ear of elephant, elephant's external ear is fan-like, isn't it? It's very large and it's like a fan. Whereas a rabbit's external ear, rabbit has long external ear. Whereas a squirrel is having very small external ear, isn't it? It's very tiny or it's very small. So, if you compare the ear of animals, you can say that the external ears of animals are in different size and shape, isn't it? It's different in different animals. And you also know, children, just by looking at these external ears, you can identify or recognize the animals. Okay, recognize means you can say which animal it is just by looking at their external ear. For example, if you look at the ear of elephant, just by looking at the ear, you can say which animal it is, isn't it? You know that it's the ear of elephant. If you look at the long ears of rabbit, okay, just by seeing this ear, just by looking at the long ears, you know that it's the ear of a rabbit. Okay, so some of the animals, we can recognize the animals by their ears. By looking at the size and the shape of their ears, we can say which animal it is. We can recognize animals by their ears. So, here also I have given pictures of animals having external ears. That means animals whose ears we can see, who have visible ears, like the tiger, a dog, a pig, a deer, giraffe, cat, buffalo and zebra. All these animals have external ears. And in some animals, children, the ears are placed on top of their head, as in the cat, isn't it? On top of its head. Here in rabbit, the ears placed on top of its head. Then in some others, the ears are placed on its side, on the side of its head, like that you see in the buffalo. Why? Because it is placed on the side of their head. Or a cow, it has ears placed on the sides of its head. Okay, so the external ears can be different in different animals. The external ears can be long in some animals have small external ears, some animals have very large external ears. By looking at the external ears, we can even identify or recognize which animal it is, isn't it? Just by looking at the ears of a cat, we can say it's the ear of a cat, isn't it? Just by looking at the ear of the elephant, we can say that it's an elephant. Okay, so that is about the ears of animals that we can see, or ears we can see. Okay, now let us learn about some animals whose ear we cannot see. Ears are not visible. So, does it mean that they cannot hear? We already tabulated the names of some animals whose ears we cannot see. Do you think that all these animals that I have listed over here, as you cannot see their ears, do you think that they are deaf? No, isn't it? They also can hear. Okay, they also can hear. Only thing is that they don't have external ears. Okay, so let us see about that. So, these are some of the animals whose ears we cannot see. Okay, such animals have ears. The only difference is that their ears are placed inside their head. Okay, so we call such ears as internal ears. Why? Because it is placed inside their head. We can see it just like an opening. Okay, For example, animals like lizard, snake, crocodile, frog and birds. They all have ears, but only thing is that we cannot see them clearly. For animals like lizards, snakes, crocodile and birds, they have tiny holes on both sides of its head, and they hear with the help of those holes. If you look at the lizard over here, the snake also have tiny holes on the side of its head. The crocodile also have tiny hole on the side of its head. Only if you look carefully we can see it. With the help of these holes, these animals hear. And do you know, children, snakes cannot hear all the sounds. It can hear only certain sounds, and mostly it hears sounds in the form of vibrations. Okay, it senses vibrations. Then in a frog also you can't see the ear. But the thing is, it has ear. The ear is covered by a layer of skin. That's why you cannot see its ear. Okay. So all these animals do not have external ears. Their ears are placed inside their head. So we call it as internal ear. Okay, internal ear. So these animals have internal ears. In birds also you can see the holes that they use for hearing. Okay, birds have tiny holes on both sides of the head, and they hear with the help of these holes. Okay, and why can't you see them? It's because these holes are covered with their feathers. Here it's covered with feathers. Only if you remove the feathers, only then you can see the holes. See, when you remove the feathers, you can clearly see the holes on the side of the head of birds. With that, the birds used to hear. Okay, so children, in this video you learned about the ears of animals. You learned that animals can have visible ears, or there are also animals in which you cannot see their ears. Okay, the visible ears, or animals who is having ears outside their body, we call it as, outside their head, we call that ear as external ear or outer ear. And the external ear can be large or small or long in different animals. It's different, and just by looking at the external ears we can recognize which animal it is. Whereas in animals whose ears we cannot see, such animals hear with the help of tiny holes on both sides of its head, like that of a lizard, a crocodile or a bird. Okay, so children, I hope this topic is clear to you. Please read the textbook pages from 11 to page 13. Please read pages 11 to 13 in your textbook. Thank you, children.